The release by the Senate Democrats of the report of CIA torture of terrorist suspects held in the United States is probably the most blatant example I can think of putting partisan politics and political point scoring ahead of the national interest. What purpose does it serve for us to catalog all of the techniques we used in interrogating these guys? People who were dedicated terrorists who tried to kill Americans and in many cases succeeded brilliantly, as in the World Trade Center bombing. What purpose does it serve to release this information? To give to every recruiter for every Arab extremist terrorist group ammunition to try to defame the United States and to try to induce people to cooperate in efforts to kill us and to hurt our people? Why? The only point to be served by it is political points, to try to demean and discredit the Bush administration, probably to try to discredit the possibility of a Jeb Bush candidacy in 2016. It's entirely political. Do you realize that the Senate Intelligence Committee spent 6 years studying this? Huge amounts of money, investigating every detail of it. The report itself runs to several thousand pages. And its only design is to injure the United States. The policy conclusions are important and could go to the president and could lead to a modification of policy and could lead to curbs on interrogation techniques. That's all reasonable. And it's reasonable to prepare the report. But to release it publicly, what does that do? It doesn't make the administration's restrictions on terrorism any more or less compelling. Those come from the report. The release itself is putting propaganda into the hands of the enemy. And the only reason the Democrats are doing it is political. Now, on the substance of the torture, let me say this. I don't feel very sorry for those folks. And when I read the accounts of what went on, I think of bodies jumping off the World Trade Center's 110th floor and impacting like a melon on the sidewalk. I think of people burning to death in bombings. Those aren't very nice either. And if we had a report that documented all of the pain without just saying 40 people died, but went through it in the same detail that these torture reports do, I think it would offset some of the sympathy that we're feeling. So I am not in favor of the release of this report and would caution against an overreaction based on it. Remember that when the Church Committee reported in the 1970s on efforts by the CIA to topple foreign governments, it ended those efforts, but it also ended any CIA oversight of national security and, in my judgment, led directly to 9/11. Let's hope that the release of this report does not spawn an entire new generation of terrorists frothing at the mouth to attack the United States.